All right. I think we are officially live here on this Friday morning. It is October 1st. Wow. Is that true? Is it really October 1st? I guess it is. Man, every time that I get on here, I'm always kind of blown away at the time and where it went. And wow, September is now gone. It's in the history books. Crazy. Okay, today we are going to do our scheduled jam session. It is a Friday. It is October 1st. But if you're watching this, I don't know, in December or maybe 2022, it's still a great day, right? It's a day that we're all here, and you're going to be able to probably learn something from what we're going to talk about here, because this is probably never going to go away. And that is, this is a big question that I get asked a lot, is did I pick the wrong niche? Is it bad? Did I pick a bad niche? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I received a private message from one of our students asking this exact question. And today we're going to run through some things to see if, in fact, we have maybe chosen a wrong or a bad niche, however you want to phrase it. But that's what we're going to be talking about here on this jam session. So what I would invite you to do, no matter when you are watching this, whether it's a replay, whether it's here live, if you have doubts, if you have any type of questions about where you're at with the niche selection, or maybe you have already started publishing. Now, the one situation and the one question that I'm really addressing is for someone that's already chosen the niche. They've already created their niche property. They've already started to publish content consistently. Okay. That's who we're really going to be speaking to today and really talking about. But this also helps you when you are in the discovery phase and the validation phase, and then getting yourself going and really giving yourself the confidence to pull the trigger and start. Okay. Because a lot of times we kind of wait, and we always stay in that research phase. And what we want to do here is get past that so we can get moving forward. So that's what we're going to be talking about here today. And I'm going to get right to it here very, very shortly. Let's see here. Alejandro is with us. What's up, Alejandro? Thank you for the apple. And yes, the glasses are on today. It says, watch out, much like Wednesday, the specs are on. So you know it's about to go down. Love it. It's great. So while I have you there, Alejandro, can you let me know, audio good, video good? As long as we are, then we'll get rocking and rolling here on our jam session. I did want to let you guys know that these jam sessions are really from your questions or something that I was inspired to talk about further. So if you have something that you want me to drill into, if you want it to be the discussion for Friday, let me know. Let me know. All right, cool. All good. Let's roll. All right, cool. So that's what we're going to do. Literally, what time is it right now? We are only, gosh, what is it? It's 10:04, 4 minutes in. Let's go ahead and get this thing rocking. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to kick this thing off. If you have any questions during the jam session, drop them in the comments. It looks like Alejandro already did about the content blitz. So we will definitely address that, because I'm going through a little bit of a content blitz right now myself. So that's what we'll answer any questions here during the jam session, because that's what they're all about. All right, here we go. We're going to get rocking and rolling. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, welcome back to another Friday jam session. I am fired up because, well, why not? Why not be fired up? It's a great day. It's a great day with a lot of opportunity that we can go out there and we can take on, and we can enjoy it. We can embrace it. We can be frustrated. It doesn't matter. We have the ability to really go out there and make the day whatever we want it to be. And I know that's, people have said that, and it's kind of like, yeah, okay, Scott, whatever. But seriously, it's Friday, or depending on when you're watching this, it might be on a Thursday. But it's a good day because we can address maybe obstacles, or maybe we can get excited about what we're building. And yeah, I'm pretty excited because there's a lot of opportunity out there. and I'm going to take advantage of it. Why not? All right. So here we go. What are we going to talk about today? What is our Friday jam session? What is our question that we want to dig into? Well, it's a good one. And that is, did I pick a bad niche? Or, as some of you like to call it, a niche. I'm going to go with niche. You guys know that. So let's kind of dig right in here. This came about, and I've had this question a lot, and I've doubted it myself at times until I really understood like what the expectations were and all of that stuff. But this came in from a private message from one of my students inside of Brand Creators Academy. And the question was, hey, Scott, I've been at this now for around 6 months. I've got 50, 60 articles created. And I realized the other day that I'm not getting all that much traffic. And I'm looking at some of the other sites and I'm wondering, did I pick a bad niche? Because they're getting traffic, but I'm not finding some of the things that you're sharing as far as there's more sites out there that are getting a lot more traffic. And I'm really just starting to doubt if this is in fact a good niche. Did I pick a bad niche? And I'd like to know now and kind of change course versus going out there and just continuing to keep plowing away. And so I had already done a little bit of research with this student of ours, and the niche to me, it looks like a great niche. Okay. I know that because I don't want to say it's similar, but it kind of follows the same path as two of our niches that we are going and building our niche properties in. We have two of them that are in somewhat of this space. And so I know just from that alone that there's potential there. But I also know this is that every single niche is going to vary. Okay. Traffic is going to vary. Timelines are going to vary. The type of content is going to vary. So there's some things that we need to understand. So the very first thing that I want to address here is expectations. When we are creating something, we need to have the expectations there up front. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to, have those expectations really be true once we get to that time. So I'll give you an example. So if our expectations are 8 months and we should have traffic, okay, fine. After 8 months, we're going to look and see if we have traffic. But the problem here is not even the problem, but the thing that we need to keep in mind is, what are we looking at that allowed us to get traffic? So if I publish in 8 months, if I publish 100 articles and you publish 50, who has the better chance of getting traffic faster? Most likely the one that has 100. In this case, more is usually going to get you there faster. Okay. And a lot of times I talk about these content blitzes where I'm doing 30 plus articles in a 30-day window to kind of backfill, the niche property so we can kind of get things rolling. Because if you think about it, let's say that we start on day one. You start with 1 article and I start with 10, right? So in 6 months from now, I've got 10 articles that are most likely indexed for 6 months. You have 1. And then maybe after 3 months, you decide, I've been publishing 1 article a week. I'm going to scale that up to 2 articles a week. So now you're doing 8 articles versus 4. Okay. But in the meantime, I've been always publishing 10. Okay. And I'm not saying you have to do 10. I'm just saying expectations. Okay. Because if you're only publishing 1 piece of content for 52 weeks, at the 12-month mark, you have technically only you only have 1 article that is matured a full year. Now, that doesn't mean you can't rank earlier. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. But all I'm saying is we have to really analyze that. So before we can say, oh, I've been publishing for this amount of time, it's not working, we need to also go back and see what has actually been done, right? Like if I build a house that I want to rent out and I have not yet finished, the house, but I've been building it for 8 months, okay? Am I going to be able to rent that out? Well, maybe I can rent out half the house. Maybe I'm doing a duplex and I get one side done, but not the other. But I'm doing the same thing and I have mine completed in 6 months. There's a good chance I'm probably going to be able to rent out both sides and I'm going to be there quicker. So we need to also understand that we need to analyze that. The other thing we need to look at too is like, okay, when we started creating content, did we do the best job to find low competition keywords? Or did we just go after things randomly? So that's another thing that we need to look at. So the expectations need to be set up front, okay, for that timeline. And if you have done that work, like if you've done all of the work up until that 6-month mark or 8-month mark, and you're not getting the traffic, then we need to look at it and say, okay, what is going on here? Then you might want to reanalyze the niche or reanalyze your competition. Now, I don't think that the problem here for one of our students here that voiced this question and that, asked me personally, like, what do you think? I don't think it's that they chose a bad niche at all. I was looking at a site. I wasn't looking to buy it, but it came across my desk in a sense because I'm always getting different websites that are up for sale. And this market was selling a site. And I think it was selling for maybe $25,000 or $30,000. And it was started a year and a half ago. And they're ready to sell it now. So that means that they're making about $700, $800 a month on that after about a year and a half. Okay. So, but they have a lot more content. Okay. And maybe they just happen to choose better keywords just by chance. Maybe it just happened by accident. Who knows? Okay. But all I'm saying is that is proof to me that there are sites out there in this niche that are young. They're not that old and they're getting traffic. So then what we want to do is we want to look at finding keywords. So to me, it comes down to looking at the keywords you've selected, looking at the content that you've created, the frequency, and then looking at it, and then looking at some of those other sites that are just a little bit further ahead of you and starting to allow them to lead the way. How can you do better, right? Now, there are some things that we can do to get our domain authority there quicker. And I won't go too much into this, but domain authority will have something to do with you ranking. So if you have a site that's only 6 months old, 8 months old, but someone built a site on an expired domain that has a domain authority of a 20 and yours is 0, and they've been publishing content for 6 months, they're going to get there quicker, most likely, because they're going to be able to rank quicker. So it's just a little bit more of a waiting game, a little bit more of patience. So my advice was this: keep doing your keyword research, try to publish more content, and stay the course. Like, that was it. And a lot of times when we're doing this, it can get boring. It can get lonely because all we're doing is like finding keywords, sending them to a writer, or writing them ourselves. All right. So for me, like it literally, I'm sitting down, I'm doing an hour's worth of keyword research. I'm loading them into a spreadsheet. And then once they're loaded in the spreadsheet, my writers have access to them. They can write them, they can upload them, and then someone else on my team is going to finalize them and make them live. But my job is keyword research, put in the spreadsheet. That's it. And from there, it's kind of like, okay, I'm not getting any results yet, but I've been doing this for 6 months. My traffic is still really low. That's where it can get disappointing, right? And frustrated. And you feel like the work that you're doing isn't amounting to anything. It comes down to, though, the very, very beginning is the validation. If we do not do the validation process correctly, okay, then yes, we can, say, okay, maybe we missed the mark. Now, do I think that you wasted your time? No. Do I think that you can maybe pivot? Yes. Right? I do think that you can pivot even that same site. I wouldn't discard it. I would just maybe I would position it a little bit differently, or maybe I would start to go a little bit more broad and find another angle. Okay. But the validation piece is critical. Okay. And I've talked about it here on the podcast. I've talked about it on the Facebook Lives. I've talked about it a lot, right? Now, inside of our niche properties class, we actually we actually go through extensively, like how to find your niche, how to validate your niche. We give examples and all of that stuff. And here would be a shameless plug to basically say, hey, if you want help with that, then I would definitely recommend heading on over to buildnicheproperties.com. Again, that's buildnicheproperties.com. And you can go there. You will go through the validation process and you'll see exactly what we do, what we look for. And at least then you feel more confident when you're going into it. The other thing that you're going to want to do as you start to get to this place where you've been publishing for a little while, you then want to start looking at keyword research. Like that is your bread and butter. Okay. And, I just did a podcast the other day on the tool that I'm using, I'm playing around with. It's not the only tool I use, but it's the one that I am using that I am enjoying this one, and it's Keyword Chef. And if you want to try it out, you can head on over to brandcreators.com/chef, and you can check it out over there. And I believe you get some free searches there. You might not be able to unlock all of the information, but it'll give you a good idea of how that tool works, and even giving you some suggested ideas of keywords. The one strategy that I always use for a brand new site is just going into Ubersuggest, looking at low competition keywords, and then sorting them by the competition. The one thing I will say too is a lot of times people think that they have to get keywords that have, or find keywords that have search volume. You do not. Again, if you find keywords that okay, and here's one way to know that they're being searched for, even if it says 0. Do this little test for me, okay? Again, you don't have to do it right now, but do this when you get a minute, okay? Go into Ubersuggest. Even if you don't have a paid account on Ubersuggest, you can do like 3 searches a day, I think, for free. Go in there, take your keyword, put it in there. If it comes back 0, I want you to take that keyword. I want you to go to Google, open up a brand new window, go into Google and put that keyword in there and see if it auto populates the number 1 spot or the 2nd spot, or even the 3rd. If it auto suggests, there's a good chance it's getting traffic, because Google is putting it there as a auto suggest. If it's auto suggested, it means it's been searched before. Okay. The other thing is when you're going after these low competition keywords and they're long tail, can you catch bass in a pond at night? There's other subtopics that you're going to be talking about that will get picked up, that you will rank for. So that one long tail keyword, even though it might say 0 searches, there's all of these other variations that will lead you to traffic. So always know that. Okay. And the one thing I would do, like a lot of people say, well, Scott, how do I know that I'm optimizing fully? First thing I would look at is your articles. Do your articles have subheads that are related that also could be long tail keywords, right? So if I do that right now on the fly, I'm going to do that right now. So can you catch bass in, and the auto suggest, by the way, is in the rain. Okay. In the rain. So can you catch bass in the rain? The next one is in the winter, in August, in the summer. So in muddy water. So those are all keywords that we know they're getting traffic, even if it says in Ubersuggest that they're not. Okay. But if I'm to take that one keyword, right, and I put that into Google, and I'm going to wait for Google to give me a search back here. Here we go. Then I'm going to look immediately at people also ask, is bass fishing good during rain? What lures to use for bass in the rain? So if you put that as one of your sub headings, your H2 tags, as we call it, what lures to use for bass in the rain, that's an H2. That's your sub head. Okay. That's in that article. Guess what? You can get searched for and found by you having that in your sub head. Okay. So even though the article is, can you catch bass in the rain? What lures to use for bass in the rain is also a keyword that can lead to that article. Okay. And that's why it's important to use those people also ask, or the other suggestions, because those are there from Google. And I go through all of this, and Chris Schaefer teaches a whole section as far as optimization, so we can optimize our posts fully. So if you are, after 6 months, you are doing this and you're like, I got these articles and they're not really getting any traffic, I would look back then and say, okay, let me look at my articles and make sure that they're fully optimized. that would be one thing I would want to do. I'd want to see, are my keywords good? And then are my subheads good? And am I optimizing it? Do I have, good on-page SEO? Do I have off-page SEO? Do I have images? Do I have, internal links, external links? Like, do I have all that stuff in there? That's what I would want to ask. But for the most part, it's a waiting game. It is a waiting game, and you need to produce more. Okay. You need to produce more. So that's that one. And so I'm just curious too. I'm going to do this real quick on the fly. So bear with me. If you're listening to the podcast, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that keyword. I'm going to go to Uber Suggest, and I'm going to try to find a zero. Let me see how many searches this one says it gets from Uber Suggest. Okay. So Uber Suggest right now says 0 searches for can you catch bass in the rain. Do you really think that no one searches for that? I would disagree. I would disagree fully. Now, the one keyword that's coming up as a search that's happening is how to catch bass in the rain. But we all know that people are searching, can you catch bass in the rain, right? The other variations here is, can you fish for bass in the rain? Can I catch bass in the rain? Is it good to fish for bass in the rain? That's another one that says it gets 10 results. But if I did one, can you catch bass in the rain? Okay. And I'm putting it like, if I put here, let me just go, can you catch bass in, the very first one is in the rain. The second one is in the winter. So let's see about that one real quick. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to go to Uber Suggest. I'm going to copy that keyword in. That one there says it gets 110 searches a month. Okay. So that one does say that. Okay, fine. Let me do another one here. So if I just hit the space bar on that, after I do, can you catch bass in, let's do, let's see, muddy water. That one's way down on the list too, by the way. Okay. But it's still in the auto suggest. So it's definitely one that's being searched for. That gets 0, it says. And we know that that's not the case. But if I did that one, okay, let me go ahead and put that in Google. People also ask, is muddy water good for bass fishing? Where do bass go when water is muddy? What is the best color lure to use in muddy water? Those are suggested keywords that Google is saying people also ask. So let me ask you this. If that has 0 search volume, according to Uber Suggest, if I type that in, can you catch bass in muddy water? That was one of the searches that came up as an auto suggest. And then they are saying, Google is saying, people also ask. And then it gives you those. So let's see here. People have never searched for can you catch bass in muddy water? False. Because Google's saying, after you do that search, people also ask this. Okay. So we have to use a little bit of common sense here. And the reason why I'm going into this is because a lot of times people will try to go after keywords that are getting this crazy amount of traffic because they think that's what they have to do, when in reality, it's harder to rank a lot of times for those. So go after some of these that might get 0 search volume. Obviously, you don't want something that doesn't make sense. But this one here makes total sense. All right. So I'm going to come back here to wrap this up for the, for this discussion of, did I pick a bad niche? You know what? It depends. It depends if you did your validation or if you just guessed. If you picked a bad niche because all you did was come up with an idea in your head and you didn't go out there in the real world and see and validate that it's getting traffic, that there's some websites out there that don't have a lot of authority, that are ranking for keywords, that are getting traffic, all of the things that we talk about and that we talked about here on the podcast, if it checks all those boxes, then I would say, no, you didn't pick a bad niche. You just haven't executed fully yet. And you haven't given it time and you haven't set the right expectations. That's what I would say, right? You've probably always, not always, but, people have been saying this for years and they have pictures about it too, where the guy's, doing a tunnel, right? He's doing it with a pickaxe. He's doing a tunnel. He's almost getting to the gold. And then he gives up, and right on that backside of that dirt, was the gold. He just stopped a little bit too early. And that I see happening a lot in anything. It could be working out. It could be, maybe you're practicing guitar. And if you would have just did it for another month, you would have gotten to a place where you would have felt like you were making progress and you would have kept going. Same thing goes for building these niche properties. Same thing goes for any business. You gotta really have the right expectations and you gotta keep going, right? The cool thing is that when we do the validation piece, we pretty much know it's going to work. It's just a matter of time. Okay. And we have to keep at it. We can't let up. All right. So that is the Friday jam session. As far as the topic of, did I pick a bad niche? Hopefully that's helped you. Now what we're going to do, which we always do on Friday jam sessions, is we're going to open it up for some Q&A, and we'll go ahead and answer a few of these questions with our live morning crew peeps. So let's go ahead and get this baby rocking and rolling. So, okay. Alejandro, after the content blitz, 100, 150 articles, how many weekly articles would you consider? I would like to have, and again, it just depends on what else you are working on, what else you are focusing on, also your resources. I would say personally for me right now, like there's a site that we're going to be building out. We're going to do 100 articles in the next 60 days. Okay. 100 articles. After that, I'm probably going to do 2 to 3 articles per week on that site. Okay. Now that may change depending, but right now that's kind of what I'm looking at. But I would like to see 2 to 3 articles consistently being produced while you're still climbing. Okay. And kind of building. Let's see. The initial question for Keyword Chef, are you getting that from Uber Suggest? Sometimes, and that's actually really good. The thing that you would want to do here for that is put something in there that's related to the seed keyword. So if you just did bass fishing, you're going to get a whole bunch of different things on bass fishing. But then you might want to do bass fishing lure, everything that comes around a fishing lure, or maybe bass fishing ponds, or maybe you'll put something in that is catching bass, maybe just catching bass. Maybe that's one. Or maybe it is bass fishing boat. And so you're going to start getting questions around all of that stuff, and not even necessarily a question that is how to, where to buy one. It could be like something like how to maintain your bass fishing boat, or can you use bass fishing boats in tournaments? Like whatever, that might be the question. So I would use that as a seed keyword and kind of start going a little bit wider in different topics. It could be products. It could just be questions. Let's see. In order to properly vet a niche, would you say that you are considering niches that sell products with a bigger price tag because of the affiliate link? No. And here's my thought on that. And I was thinking about this actually just the other day. I am personally not focusing on the affiliate side of this model. I'm looking at it as display revenue, display ads. And the reason why is a couple different reasons. The first reason is number one, most of the time we are using products that are being sold on Amazon. Right now, commissions range between 3%. And if you're lucky, very, very lucky, you can get 8 to 10%. But that's really, really rare. It's 3, 4, maybe 5%. Even if you sell something for $1,000, right? Talking $30, right? So how many of those do you have to sell before it really starts to add up? So you need a lot of volume. Okay. I would rather work around informational content that then display ads will come in. And as that rises, the income rises and the RPMs can rise, right? And improve. And you can do those types of things. And you're not really having someone have to buy something. Now, with that being said, that would be another revenue stream. It wouldn't be the primary. I'm looking at primary as display ads. That's like the first one and the easiest one, by the way. Then I would look at affiliate stuff, but I'll be mixing that in regardless. And then I would consider, depending on how big I want to build this, because sometimes you don't want more responsibility, would be digital products. Now, if you don't want to sell your own digital products, you can sell other people's digital products, which I would probably advise doing as an affiliate on ClickBank or JV Zoo, I think is the other one. There's a few other ones out there, but ClickBank's a known one. And you can make some good money on those products without even having to create them. Okay, would you insert video in front of the article, middle, or the very end? I've been doing them at the end, but I probably wouldn't do it at the beginning. I would do it in the middle or the end. I've been doing them at the end. All right, and let's see here. Did I pick a bad niche? Is like a farmer asking, did I plant the right crop? The answer is, let's wait till harvest time, 10 to 12 months. Oh, I love that, Alejandro. That's a good one. I like that a lot. If you want to do a blitz midstream, how many per week for how long? However many you can do. So right now, there's a few different projects we got that we're working on. There's one that we're going to have 100,000 words of content, which actually equates to about 70 articles, 70-ish, a little bit more, I think. We're going to have those all done and uploaded and optimized and done within 6 weeks, right? So those are done. I'm not doing those. It's the company that I'm working with. And basically, we're just going to go ahead and get those all out there, get them indexed. Another project that I just started, which the site isn't even built yet. It will be built over the weekend and then be ready for content next week. That one there, I am going after 100. It's actually another little test I'm doing, by the way, as to where we are going to do articles in the very beginning of 1,000 words, because I did a little bit of research where I found that there's a lot of low-hanging fruit, a lot of opportunities that Keyword Chef has helped me find, because there's a lot of posts that are like Reddit, forums, things like that. So I'm going to go after 1,000 words, see what happens. I'm going to do 100 articles, and I'm actually going to be paying between $25 and $30 per article. So about $2,500 to $3,000 will be the initial push. And so I'm going to be publishing them as fast as I can get them. Okay. Now, if you want more of a structure or more of a routine, I would say, if you can, I would do 3 to 4 articles per week. That would give you 12 to 16. But if you were going to do 30 articles, like I'm doing for our initial content blitz, one a day, but it might not even be one a day. It might be like, well, you're going to get 5 done and written, and they're going to be ready by the end of the week. Well, then sit down and get 5 of them published in a day. That's fine. So it really just does depend. Let's see. One more question here I see. If you guys have any other questions, drop them in the queue. If you're listening to the podcast, this is where I do live Q&A. If you want to be part of that, head on over to takeactioncrew.com. Alejandro, again, at what point would you consider adding an email list to the site that is getting some traffic if you don't mind the extra work? I'm glad that you put that in there. If you don't mind the extra work, I would say as soon as you kind of feel like you're creating your content, right? You've got a good rhythm. I'd add the email list. Like I would add the email list. I would add the email list to allow you to get traffic to your posts, right? So if you're already doing your keyword research, you're feeling like you're keeping up with that, you're keeping up with writing or having writers do it, publishing, all of that stuff, then I would add that in there. And I would use a giveaway to get the ball rolling quickly and get 500 to 1,000 subscribers. And I teach that inside of our email marketing accelerator training, which is also inside of our Brand Creators Academy. But that comes only if you want the extra work, because if you are willing to do that, yes, it can give you good, traffic. It could also help you sell things, but it does require the work of building the list, but then nurturing the list and really keeping the list active, which at times can be hard for people. So if you only want a passive type income style piece of real estate, then I would not do that. If you don't mind that and want to add that other asset to the brand, then go for it. That's what I would say. Okay, last question here. Did you find a service to do the writing, or are you using independent writers on Upwork, Fiverr? Okay, I am actually using independent writers on this one. And I actually found an amazing resource, which I am not going to be sharing here, but I will be sharing it inside of Brand Creators Academy. And that will be coming soon. And the reason why is because I don't want this service to get flooded and then we can't all use it. So my thing is Upwork is great to find independent writers. iWriter. We have used iWriter on 2 of our niche properties. One of them we used for all of the content up until just now. Actually, our writer there had to leave. And she was writing for us for about 1.5 years, and she was awesome. So then what we did is we reached out to someone on Upwork, and from there, they have been really, really good and consistent as well. But for the new project that I'm working on, I wanted to have a fleet, in a sense, maybe 4 different writers, 5, that I could hand off and get 4 or 5 articles done in a week. So I would say Upwork is good. Fiverr would be my last resort. I would say iWriter, Upwork, or FreeUp would be the other one. But if you're inside of Brand Creators Academy, I am going to be revealing a new resource that is really, really awesome. And I had 95 applications that came through on someone, and I only needed 4 writers. So it was pretty awesome. And I apologize that I can't share everything outside of here, but that is what makes Brand Creators Academy exclusive. So sorry. All right, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap up this podcast, this jam session. I did want to remind you a couple of different things. Number 1, if you want help building your niche property step by step, a course that walks you through it, and a lot of hand-holding through this process, downloads, workbooks, all that stuff, head on over to buildnicheproperties.com. I'm telling you right now, this will give you every single step of the way, and it will show you how to validate. It'll show you how to build every aspect of it, even how to write the articles. We actually are just adding, I believe it's added this week already. We actually did a brand new piece of content showing you how to write a product-based post. And Chris had published it and showed exactly how he did it, how you can do it, how to follow this template. So that was just added inside of the niche properties training. So that's in the content creation side. So again, buildnicheproperties.com. I'll leave it at that. The last thing is if you are interested in getting more long tail, easy to rank for keywords, I've been playing around with a new tool that I really, really love, and it's just getting better and better. I'm actually having the owner, Ben, on the podcast, but it's Keyword Chef is the name of it. And if you go to brandcreators.com/chef, you can go there and you can check out the free version and the free way that you can test this out. There's actually, I believe you can pull a report, and from there, it just won't unlock all of the features, the premium features, but it'll at least give you some more ideas for your keywords to go after. But I would recommend buying a few credits and running a paid search. And I'm telling you right now, it will uncover low-hanging fruit. Even if just that one search that you do in there gives you 10 different pieces of content that are going to be easier to rank for, worth every single cent. All right. So brandcreators.com/chef, and you can go check that out, test it out. All right. So guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, remember, I'm here for you. I believe in you, and I am rooting for you. But you have to come on, say it with me. Say it loud. Say it proud. Take action. Have an awesome, amazing day. And I'll see you right back here on the next episode. Now let's rock your brand. All right, guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Take care.